Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Gaining Titan, and before I go any further I suppose I should make a little announcement. There may be interruptions to video production over the next week. Essentially I have a very sore knee. It seems to be some kind of inflammation in tendons or something. I am not too sure what it is. I have not been able to make it to a doctor yet because I can't drive my car, I can't work the clutch. It's the left knee. And basically I can't really raise it from a sitting position, and it gets sore if it's bent for too long, and there's no way of sitting at my PC without bending the knee. Now I can manage, should we say, editing the videos because I don't have to sit straight in front of the PC, and I can do it for short periods of time. It doesn't take a lot of time to edit a World of Tanks video. The longest part of the process is the voiceovers, actually recording the voice and getting that to satisfactory conclusion. And if the worst comes to the worst, I reckon I can do that standing up. The knee doesn't bother me that much standing up, and it doesn't bother me when I can keep it fairly straight. But so I can play the Xbox at least for reasonable amounts of time, because I have to be sitting somewhere anyway. I can't stay standing on it all the time. But if I have it bent at kind of right angles or anything like that, it gets quite sore. And also, it is very painful to try and lift myself. Getting in out of bed is an entertainment in the morning. Getting in at night. So hopefully I will be able to make it to see a doctor next week, one way or the other. I don't know exactly going to manage it, but I'm going to have to come up with something and get this matter resolved. But in the meanwhile, it is certainly completely crushing my ability to play PC games. But I do have quite a bit of World of Tanks already done, because this is the story of how I got this particular tank. This is the T34-88. Although this tank uses the German 88 gun and was apparently pressed into services by German forces, it's in the Russian tech tree, and it's essentially a T34-85 variant. Now I was offered a special offer of this thing for 2,000 gold, which I actually thought was a pretty reasonable offer, but I didn't have any gold at the time and wasn't at the time planning on buying any. But then the whole war chest stuff came up, and I was curious, and I thought that it was worth spending a few bob on war chests, both out of my own interest and to inform everybody else on my channel. So I did spend some money, and there is a previous video referring to the yields, we say, from the different types of war chests, and one of them was quite a considerable amount of gold. Now I used that gold mostly, well, to buy this tank, and the special offer was still running, and to to put a permanent camouflage, because there was a permanent camo for sale on practically every tank that I was keeping in my garage. So now most of the tanks in my garage that I'm keeping have permanent camo on them, and therefore I don't have to use silver anymore if I want to go back to these tanks for any purpose. That includes quite a lot of the premium tanks that don't come with a camouflage, like the Fatherland and the Motherland and a few others with camouflage of their own type. It also, the war chest, resulted in getting quite a few new tanks, so there's going to be a couple more of these first looks at videos, and I'm going to have probably more later on, because I'm going to have to get to grips with these tanks properly. The first looks are very much a first impression. This is actually probably the third game. I've only 3 games in this tank, and this is probably the third game that I played in this tank, because once I got a result like this one, I would have moved on, because I had other things to do and wanted to try out. So what can I say about it? Well, if you like T34-85s, you will definitely like this tank. It's got, well, a better gun than the standard 85mm on the Russians. It's the 88. It's a very punchy, accurate gun. Better than most Russian medium tanks, really, until you get into the higher tiers where they have some very good guns. Not to mention the fact that it will also train German crew. It's got all the strengths and weaknesses of the T-34. Abilities about the same. Armour is about the same, view range is about the same. View range I would consider to be the biggest weaknesses of the T34-88 tanks in its various variations that are in the game. So the bit that really stands out with this tank is the gun. It's very rapid firing, about 5.5 second reload with current crew, which aren't, I mean, that's the crew that came originally in the Rudy, but I haven't played a lot with that crew. They haven't got a huge amount of skills, so therefore it's a pretty good performance. It's a very good performing tank, I think. And I think the T34-85 is a very competitive tank, very I haven't played every medium tank, or was probably its chiefest rivals would be German at that late, that tier in terms of the quality of really good medium tanks. But I think it's an excellent tank, and I think the gun is outstanding. I have played more really, I suppose, to be definitive about a view like that. But so far, it's the one thing that really stands out to me about this tank in comparison to the other, well, regular T34-85s that I've played, like the Rudy or like the regular Tech 3 T34-85. So in this game already, like, we have 10 damaging ribbons put up and 1835 damage, which is well over twice our hit points worth of damage. And quite a few of those shots were at smallish targets that I suspect that I wouldn't have penetrated as many times, especially against the Panzer, was it a 5.4? But I was just shooting the cupola there with a regular T34-85 or a Rudy. Probably have bounced a lot more of those shots, because they wouldn't have hit it quite centre enough to actually get the penetration, even if I was firing APCR at the time. I'm definitely looking forward to more games in this tank. Can train German crews as well, so it's quite useful. I could be training a German crew along with some Soviet crews and collecting up silver, because it's a decent silver earner. Since you're going to do reasonably well in it, you're going to earn a reasonable amount of silver, and you don't necessarily need to pull out the stops and have premium ammunition all the time, or even premium consumables. I'm not trying to tree market or anything like that. I just want to use it as a crew trainer and to train up or to gain silver. In fact, silver earnings are going to be a priority again, because I've basically stopped the tier 9 grind because of the new tanks that I bought or got for nothing. But I still had to equip them. I still had to put in equipment. And equipping tanks is probably the most expensive part of the whole operation. You're going to spend about $1 million, $1.2 million silver, depending on what equipment you mount, no matter what you do and no matter what the price of the tank is. The results of this game, I think, bear out the quality of the tank. Yet another crew trainer for the biggest and most complex tech tree in the game, I think. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.